Welcome everyone to this happy and long-awaited day when we do the groundbreaking for our new central library for the Susquehanna County Historical Society and Free Library Association. We're going to start today. Susan Benici with the Montrose Area High School Band is going to lead us in singing, and her husband Nino is actually going to start us. We're going to sing the Star Spangled Banner. We have a flag right here, and many of you can see the flag up at the school too. 108 years ago, Francis Cope and the community leaders who were working with him inaugurated our beautiful building on Monument Square in Montrose. That was 1907. At that time, the association had two components. Upstairs was the Historical Society and Museum, and on the main floor was the library. 20 years later, first in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, a bookmobile started roaming the roads of Susquehanna County, taking the services of the library out to all corners of our very big, rural, spread out county. That bookmobile grew into the third part of our association, our outreach, which today takes library services throughout the county to schools, daycare centers, nursery programs, senior programs, the jail, and many other sites. The association continued on and continued to grow. In 1970, through the request of community leaders, a library was opened in Forest City, and soon after, one in Susquehanna Depot. And in the early 1990s, the Halstead Library, which existed independently, asked to join our association. So that became the 6 parts of the association that are functioning. In 2002, the Board of Trustees made the decision, which had been pondered, I think, for decades, since the facility on Monument Street was bursting at the seams. The decision was made to build a new library. Planning began, architectural sketches were done, and a search for a site to build ended up with the Montrose Area School District donating this land to the association. Eleanor Deweese McCage, a Susquehanna County lifelong resident, was the Board of Trustees president at that time and led this effort. Ellie was a board member for many, many years, had other functions and capacities with the association, and in fact was president for 8 years. She died last November. She's not here with us today. She is, in fact, the largest donor to our campaign fund for this new building, and we know she's here in spirit. Many of you know that Ellie wintered the geraniums that have been a tradition in front of the Monument Street building for years. She wintered them over in the greenhouse at her property, and not only in spirit but symbolically, these are some of Ellie's geraniums that are here with us today. Between Ellie McCage in 2002 and me standing here in 2015, there were 4 individuals who helped make this day happen. They are former presidents of our Board of Trustees, and I want to mention them. They are all here with us today. There's Connie Page, and there's Connie. Kathy Chiarelli. There's Kathy. Gladys Bennett. And Toby Anderson. Thank you all for making this happen, getting us here today. I want to tell you the plan here. In fact, a couple hours after we disperse today, the Soil Conservation is going to be meeting here with Ken Rao, our local contractor, who's going to do the site development on site. That work is going to be completed this summer. The site will be buttoned up for the winter. Our architect, Tom Horlacher, back there, who's been working with us for 10 years on this project. Tom is developing our plans, which we expect to go out to bid in early winter, January, February of 2016. We plan to have construction start next spring and occupancy of the building in late fall 2016. When that happens, the Historical Society will take over both the first and second floor of our Monument Street building. The library is built based on suggestion by the Department of Education, which supervises libraries in Pennsylvania. They said for our population we should have a 21,000 square foot building. Part of that will be a meeting room, which can become a community center with capacity for up to 120 people. So it'll be a real resource for our county and any groups that want to use it. When I'm done speaking today, we're going to hear from the 5 people sitting here with me. Carol Boyce is the superintendent of the Montrose Area High School. She and before her predecessor, Mike Agnoski, have been very helpful to us in being able to have this site to build on. Kim Harwood is here with us. Kim, for many, many years. 10 years. As long as he was in Montrose, I believe, worked sometimes as a committee of one, so that we could make this day happen today. Kim was zealous in the fundraising that allowed us to be here at this point. And he and his wife Kathleen relocated a couple months ago to Massachusetts, but he made the effort to be with us. So thank you, Kim, for coming. Edgar Warner, for the last 2 years, has been our new library committee chairperson, and he's bringing his ideas and energy to make today happen, make this happen today, now, and we'll continue to fundraise till we reach our goal.
Yes, we will.
Chuck Garnett is here with us from the USDA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Tunkhannock, and working with him over the last year, we were able to secure financing so that we could do our groundbreaking today and move forward with our project. So he'll speak to us a bit. And lastly will be our able administrator and librarian, Sue Stone, who will talk about libraries in the 21st century. So lastly, I want to thank all Board of Trustee members, past and current, staff, past and current, patrons, volunteers, and especially the financial contributors to our new library campaign. And we're glad you're here to celebrate with us today.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it very much. I can remember my very first paying job ever was in April of my 9th grade year of high school for the magnificent sum of 10 cents an hour. And I can tell you how long ago that was. It was in our local community library in Western Pennsylvania. My family has always appreciated the book. And whatever book it may be, I had access to it and was encouraged as a wee youngster to read. Some of my favorite possessions, even today, are books that my mother was given when she was a child, years and years ago. I'm now passing those on to brand new nieces and nephews. Hopefully, long live the book. It's been a very special opportunity for me today. Look, the sun is out. A little while ago, we had the nourishment of well-loved rain, and that strikes me as rather a balance and an analogy to a library. A library, in all of its community functions, is the nourishment, the nourishing rain that falls ever so gently on the community. The sun that comes out enables our young people to grow and to blossom into whatever paths they so choose. So we welcome today the new neighbors to the hilltop, and we're so happy to have provided the land for this to happen. Welcome to the neighborhood, and long may we thrive together in benefit of our youngsters. It's lifelong learning.
Great day. What a great day. I guess the first thing I want to do is to thank all of you who contributed to this campaign to get us to this point. I particularly want to thank a lot of you for not always sending my calls to the answering machine and not crossing the street when you saw me coming. That was a big morale builder, and I appreciated that for the years I worked on this. Tom has referred to it, but I think I feel the need to also to mention that the biggest contributor to this campaign in every possible way, unfortunately, isn't with us today. Not physically, she's not here, but I can promise you those eyes are twinkling, and Ellie McCage is grinning from ear to ear at this occasion. This is something that she worked all her many years to accomplish, and she's here. She's here. Maybe it's through the geraniums. All those of you who have contributed to us so far, I'm saying thank you, but I'm also saying you're not off the hook. You are now a part of Edgar's Army. And Edgar's Army and all of its members have to go forth into this community and spread the word about this great project to your friends, to your neighbors, even your relatives. We've got to get everybody on board with supporting this project by opening the checkbooks and helping to raise the additional funds we need to complete this. Thanks to the USDA and Chuck Garnett, we can go forward with the project and complete it. And that and this groundbreaking will show everyone that this is definitely a happening thing. This is not some pipe dream, as it was once termed. But we need the members of this Army to get to work, to mobilize, and get out there and get others on board for this. Your enthusiasm is infectious. If you go to people and talk about how important this is to this community, you'll get others feeling the same way and get them to get on board and help out. So please, everyone, get on board and work for it. I also have one other thing I'd like to do. Tom, I have something I'd like to present to you. As some of you may know, I was in the silver business for many years. And in the course of that, I could come up with all sorts of strange and odd objects, some of which I acquired, never knowing quite what I was going to do with them. But I'm sure glad I have this one. This is a miniature shovel. You to have, as president of the board, to commemorate this day, this great occasion. If you'd like, we can get it engraved.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
and maybe someplace in the new library if you can find a home. It's small enough, it won't take up a lot of space. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Kim Harlan. Just one example, we are selling the lottery tickets over here. Chance to win $50,000. I am fundraising. Kim did that by himself up until last year. We now have a committee of 7 to do what he does. And his tireless work and dedication towards this project, a big reason why you're here today is because of this man's hard work. So thank you, Kim. Yeah, big shoes to fill. Arthur, 90-year-old golfer. Golfed every day for 25 years since his retirement. He comes home to his wife just down beaten. That's it, he says. I'm through with golf. Wife says, well, what's wrong? He says, I can't see the ball anymore. His wife thinks, well, why don't you take your brother out with, or my brother out with you? He goes, that's no good. Your brother's 103. She goes, but he's got great eyesight. Okay. So Arthur and his brother-in-law, they walk up to the first tee. Arthur puts it down. He hits a monster drive right down the middle. Brother-in-law, did you see that? Of course I did. I got excellent eyesight. Where'd it go? Can't remember. That's me. That's me. There's a lot of thanks to go around, and we've said all of those. Speaking of fundraising, our staff fundraises every single day. Yes. They are tireless at this. A third of our operating budget comes from donations, Blueberry Festival, art sales, book sales, White Elephant sales, and that staff is at each and every one of them. So I just want to thank you very much for that. I'd also like to, so at the end of this little get-together, we have some nibbles we have some hot dogs and fruit and things. Very special thanks to Tall Pine Farms and to Nan Connor, who did most of this, did all the hard work behind the scenes, and we thank you very much for that. So I'll conclude by saying our endowments, our operating endowments are healthy. Our building fund endowment is around $2.5 million. This project is going to cost us north of $5 million, and so we need another $2 million. And we're going to make it happen. With your help, getting the Generation X involved is a big part of it, and understanding what this community center and what this library is going to mean for Susquehanna County for the next 100 years. Thank you very much for coming. I look forward to working with you all. Thank you. And it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Chuck Garnett, USDA. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. This is a wonderful project, and you can see the amount of support that's here. I go to some groundbreakings, and there's not an overwhelming support like there is here. There's always support, but this is wonderful. I'm with the USDA Rural Development, and we fund rural communities, projects in rural communities like this one. This is, as you're going to see, the groundbreaking is going to be starting soon, I assume, and next year the building will start. I have to apologize. Tom Williams, the state director, wasn't able to make it, so I'm here today. And I'd like to also thank Congress for allocating the funds for us to be able to do this in rural communities. Last year, we did funded in 29 different communities, about $103 million. I think help building the rural communities is a wonderful thing, and I'd like to also, like I said, thank Congress for allocating the funds, and thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate your time.
I am not a loudspeaker, so if those of you in the back, I don't shout loud enough, please wave at me or something and I'll try to push it up a notch. We've long talked since we started working with the school district about the synergy that would be with the school district. But more of the synergy, I look around this grounds today and I cry at cute puppies and I cry at cute kids, so I'll probably cry. But what I see here is awesome to me, and here's why. We were very concerned about hoping that the labor could be local. We'd like to see local hands on board. Well, what happened is we have Ken Rao and his people here who are local. And what makes it touching to me is that his son Adam, who will be putting the shovel in the ground, came to story hour, and I'm embarrassing the tears out of him, I'm sure, when he was 3 years old. So that's great synergy. Then I looked over this morning at the band, and I see a young person, and I won't embarrass them. 1 year for their birthday, they give up all of their presents so that their money could come to the library to build a new library. I'm not as good as the rest of these folks who just kind of talked. I have to write it down because at my age I start forgetting. So, what does putting the shovel in the ground really mean to county residents? A new library will mean when you sit down to use a library computer, you'll not be fighting and elbowing the person next to you because there's not space. Currently, you can't put a book beside your computer, there's no space. It means that books, Eleanor can attest to this, our staff member Eleanor does the shelving, will no longer be laying on top or jammed in every which wares so that the patron can't find the one they're looking for. We promise that. It means we will no longer have to ask. The patron comes to the desk and says, I need something that's downstairs. Can you go get it for me? Good part of this building, everything will be on one level. So everything that's currently stored downstairs comes up, gets integrated where it needs to go. So if you want to browse books on dogs, you'll see everything that we own right there. If you come in with your device like a laptop, smartphone, iPad, we're going to have comfortable chairs. Right now our chairs are not historically comfortable. They're kind of hard. Nice couch kind of things where you can sit down, use our services that way. I think that'll be awesome. And guess what? You'll be able to find a parking spot in front of the building. I've seen people go round and round because there's no spaces. And they finally give up and park on the avenue where you got to put money in the meters. So you'll no longer need to lug. We've seen patrons lugging their big bags of returned books up the front steps. We'll all be on the same level. No stairs, straight right in the building you'll come. And one thing that's exciting to me too is that the Historical Society will bring all of their exciting collections to the full building. Right now they're in hiding. There's not space to put them out. And they'll have expanded space for researchers, which is also awesome. Best of all, or one of the best things to me, is we'll finally have a meeting space. Right now, today, we're having the retired employees of Pennsylvania come to the library. There's 22 or 23 of them coming. You know where they're going to get sit? In the kids' room, in kids' chairs. It's kind of scary. And so, if indeed kids come in, guess what? They can't get to those materials because there's adults sitting in those chairs in the kids' room. That will go away. We'll have a meeting room, space for all kinds of groups. And for the first time in our history, Karen's going to clap her hands, we'll have space for teens. Yes, that's true. So, are we excited? Yes, I can say we're excited. We've waited a long time for this day, and many times I was like, oh my gosh, is it ever going to happen? It's here. And I just want to read this because I think it's important. At the dedication of our building in November 7th, 1907, Francis Cope, our founding father, stated, quote, an institution of this kind, nonpartisan, non-sectarian, all can mingle here as one. The erection of this building has afforded me much pleasure, and I have formed new acquaintances and associations, end quote. Here on June 16, 2015, the statement still rings true. Thanks to all of you, this building will be constructed, and as Mr. Cope said, new acquaintances and associations, along with all of you, will make it happen. Thanks.
Thanks to all our speakers. Just before we do the shovel, I want to do do a final and formal thank you to all of you. The fact that you're here is testimony to your participation in helping us make this happen now. After the shuttle, we're going to sing America the Beautiful with our Montrose band, and I want to again thank Sue Benici for bringing the band here to add to our event today. And do stay to socialize and partake in the picnic that George and Nan and Edgar have put together for us. Okay, let's do it. Oh, okay, he's gonna film us doing this. 1, 2, 3.
How are you, Tom?
Kim?
I debated on whether to.
Very good.